Hello, and welcome to Stan Twitter in podcast form. You're listening to The Biased Critic, and I'm your host, someone who is slowly dying. Just kidding. I am Alexa. Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you if you're new, and how are you? Glad you're back if you're coming back. Curtis Connor reference for any of my YouTube stans. Anyways, yes, I do have something. I just have a cough, really, and it's slowly killing me, basically. So I apologize for the sound of my voice, but it usually doesn't sound much better anyways, so I don't know why you're complaining. We're going to try to get through this with as minimal cuts as possible, but if I do start coughing, I will cut it out, I promise. I will not make you listen to that. I hope everyone had a great Halloween. I know I had fun Halloween. I dressed up as a Swiftie in 2021, aka I had a clown costume. Anyways, let's just jump right into today's episode. We are going track by track in the new Ed Sheeran album called Equals. I am so sorry about my computer. I've had it off for the last couple days, so now it's like, ooh, let me tell you about all of the noises I can make. Anyways, like I said last week, I've been listening to this album pretty much on repeat. It's the only thing I've been listening to other than podcasts. So I'm super duper excited about this. So let's just get right to it. I'm gonna do it the same way I did the last track by track episode, and I've got my headphones in, and I'm just going to talk about stuff as I listen to it. Anyways, alright, let's get started. The first song on the record is called Tides, and I freaking love this song. It reminds me a lot of his song Eraser from Divide, but I really love this song. I guess the reason it reminds me of Eraser is mostly just because it sounds like he's just like reflecting in the same way that he kind of does in Eraser, except now he's kind of in a different era of his life. You know, obviously he's married and he has a kid, so I think it's just a different version of Eraser. It's just like reflection of what's happened since the last album. So yeah, I really love that song. I'm gonna skip over Shivers and as well as Bad Habits when that comes up, but we're gonna do First Times now. So obviously this song is amazing. It's beautiful. It's definitely I'm pretty sure it became like the fan favorite very quickly. And I think it's going to be the next first dance song for weddings. I mean, he's done that pretty much every album since he started, really since his debut album. I think he's had a first dance song because like Kiss Me on Plus, that was written for his friend's first dance, and then Thinking Out Loud, and then Perfect, and now First Times. I think this is gonna be the next one. But it's beautiful, and I love it, and I think it's gonna be, and it's definitely the fan favorite already. So the next song, and I'm actually gonna talk about the song and the music video, is Overpass Graffiti. Right away, I gotta say, I'm really digging the robe he's wearing right at the beginning. Also, can I say, I love this song, and I'll get into it in a second after I finish watching this video. My theory about this song, I'm gonna go on a bit of a tangent, I already know. But something I really do not like about this song is the line where he says, I know your friends will say this is a cause for celebration. Hip hip hooray love. I hate that. He could have, because like in the rest of the song, when that verse, like when that cadence of the verse comes around, he just repeats what he says. He could have just said, I know your friends will say this is the cause for celebration. And then he could have just said celebration. But no, he said hip hip hooray. I hate that. But otherwise, grade A song, A+, love the song. Anyways, back to the music video. Okay, so I lied. He doesn't repeat the phrase. He adds to it, but I still don't like the fact that he says hip hip hooray. Anyways, where did he get a swimming suit in this video? Like, he was stranded. The tour bus stranded him, and then the group of kids picked him up in their creepy van, and now they're swimming in a lake. But where did he get a swimming suit? He didn't have any luggage with him. Okay, so that was 100% my favorite music video from this album so far. But let's talk about my theory. So, like, supposedly, I didn't catch it in the video just now. Supposedly, when he is on the motorcycle and he has the motorcycle jacket, leather jacket on, you can see Taylor Swift's name in the jacket or on the back of the jacket. So supposedly there's going to be some more like collaborations between them for his album. Of course, me being a diehard Sheeran fan, I honestly, my first thought when I heard this was, this song's about Taylor. And especially with that Easter egg, like, I just think like it's all about unrequited love, or like, you know, the one that got away. I think it's about Taylor. I really do. I mean, if you remember, on Multiply, there was a song, Tenerife Sea. Everybody thought that song was about Taylor, because at the end he says, knew you, loved you best, something best. And, you know, their first collaboration together, everything has changed. Yeah, it's knew you best, because in their song, everything has changed. The line is, I just want to know you better. So there was that connection. And, so, but more realistically, there is a possibility that she's going to be on a remix of the next song, The Joker and the Queen. And given the fact that there is that Easter egg of her name being on the jacket, the Joker and the Queen is obviously a reference to like playing cards. And in this song, Overpass Graffiti, the line is, the cards were stacked against us. So, I don't know, just something to think about. I'm going to go on believing that that's what it is. Anyways, let's talk about the next song, The Joker and the Queen. Song is really pretty. I really like the song. It's definitely not my favorite, but it is really, really pretty sounding song. I don't really have much more to say about this song, honestly. It's just a really pretty song, but not my favorite. Leave Your Life. I fucking love this song. I love like the more upbeat, like beatboxy tempo of it. It's very dancey and just fun. Speaking of dancey, the next song is Collide. And honestly, I was like, when I first listened to this song, I was into this song. It's a really fun song. I really like it. But I was like, this is more of like a filler for me. Like, I wouldn't necessarily call it a skip, but it's definitely more of a filler. But then the last freaking line of this song, it almost had me in tears. This last line of the song, overslept and missed the northern lights. You lost your wedding ring, but I didn't mind. I got a feeling we'll be fine. I know I just stuttered a ton. But I was almost in tears the first time I heard that last line, and that's where I was like, okay, up until that point, that was more of like a filler song for the album, for me. But then that line, "You lost your wedding ring, but I didn't mind, because I got a feeling that we'll be all right," had me on the ground, on the floor. I love that song now. Two Step, it's probably, I can't say it's like my favorite, but as far as like just the more up-tempo fun songs, it's my favorite. Is it his best song? One of his best songs, I should say. No, but it is fun and I love it. Okay, so the next song is Stop the Rain. This song I haven't listened to as much as the rest of the album. I don't know, this one's just not, again, I love this. I love it. I think it's a good song, but it's just like meh, not my favorite. The next song is Love in Slow Motion, and this song is really pretty too. I really like this song. I think this could also be the next First Dance song. I guess it would just depend on which song, either this one or First Times, becomes a single or has radio success. I feel like it'll probably be First Times, but I definitely think this one could be a good First Dance song. So the next song is Visiting Hours. I know I have talked briefly about this song previously, but man, this song is heart-wrenching, obviously. Personally, I have thankfully never experienced that kind of loss that he's talking about. But, I mean, even if you're like me and you have not experienced that kind of loss, I feel like you could still relate to this song, you know. Just thinking about some people, you know, all the people in your life that you are scared to lose one day, tragically. And just thinking about all the things that you will, you know, not be able to share with that person or those people. I think it's just, even if you haven't experienced it yet, we all will at some point. And it's just one of those songs that it's just like, man, it gets you thinking about the worst part of life. The next song is Sandman. And I feel like at some point I will say that this is my favorite song on this album. It is so stinking sweet and cute, and it's just a lullaby. It's just a song for his daughter, and it's so cute. It's so cute, and I'm so thankful that he put this song on the album, because I feel like a lot of parents who are musicians or public figures are less likely or more, what do I want to say? I guess less likely to share something like intimate like this with their audience, with their fans, with the public. And I'm so thankful that he was willing to share this with the public, because this is obviously a very intimate song to him for his daughter. But it's such a cute and fun and adorable song, and I love it. And like I said, I would definitely at some point in time be saying that this is my favorite song, because it's so beautiful. Alrighty, and the final song on this album is called Be Right Now. I love the message and the lyrics behind this song, just of like living in the moment and not taking anything for granted. I don't love the way it sounds, like just like the electronic beat through the whole thing. It's not my favorite, but I definitely love the message behind the song, and I think it's a great way to close the album, just like talking about living in the moment. I mean, this whole album talks a lot about like life and obviously death, and obviously like just thinking about the past and also thinking about the future. And I think it's just a great way to close out an album like that, is just talking about living in the moment. So yeah, there is Equals. I know I went really quickly today, guys. I'm so sorry. Going through the track by track. Obviously, I don't want to strain my voice too much, so I didn't want to talk forever and ever and ever. But I am going to talk about the album as a whole, because I have, ever since I listened to this album for the first time, I've been so excited to talk about it, because it's such a good album. Like, there is not, there are songs that I'm like aren't my favorite, but I can honestly say that there is not a bad song on this album. Even, Bad Habits, like, I've started to come around with Bad Habits. It's like, wouldn't choose to play this song, Bad Habits personally, but, when I do hear it while I'm walking through the grocery store or whatever, I do sing along and I do dance along to it. I hear it a lot at my job, actually, so that is where I will be like, ooh, Ed Sheeran's on the radio, like, feeling myself, as I walk around work. That's where I hear it the most. But anyways, even with Bad Habits being what it is, I cannot say that there is a bad song on this album. And I went into this album a little skeptically after Bad Habits and even after Shivers, which is, a better single and a better song than Bad Habits, but it is what it is. I went into this album really skeptically, like really afraid, like I wasn't going to like this. I wasn't going to like this album as much as I anticipated. Like, I didn't pre-order any music. I didn't pre-order, anything, just because I was so nervous that I wasn't going to like it. And even that thought itself of I'm not going to like this album was very scary for me. Just because I've been a fan for so long, that the thought of not liking something that I've put my heart and soul in for nearly 10 years is like really sad, a really sad thought for me anyways. But I really love this album, and I'm going to go so far as to say that this might be my new favorite Ed Sheeran album. Plus has always been my favorite Ed Sheeran album, like, since I heard it, just because as far as being a debut album, I think it does exactly what it needed to do for Ed. I feel like it showcased all of his talents, what he's capable of, as far as, obviously singing, songwriting, guitar playing, and it also showcased like rapping and beatboxing, and it just did all of that exactly the way it should have, and it did bring him to stardom where he is at today. And I think that obviously his albums since Plus have been amazing, and I have loved them, but I did not think that album could be replaced in my heart for what it was. But I really feel like Equals took every element that was on Plus and elevated it, because with Multiply and Divide specifically, because I'm not going to count Collaboration 6 as an album, because it was all collaborations, whereas these albums are just solo albums, solo records. So with Multiply and Divide, it was like they were more leaning on one thing. Like Multiply was more acoustic and Divide was more like hip-hoppy to me. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I feel like there wasn't a good balance on those two albums like he did on Plus, and I think Equals took everything that made plus amazing and just elevated it, because obviously he has not only more musical experience but more life experience, and so he's just taken everything that he is capable of and just multiplied it. I hate to sound like that, like no pun intended, but really, truly. And I really do feel like this is my new favorite Ed Sheeran album, because it is just, it takes everything that he's capable of and gives us the perfect, like spits out the perfect balance of like everything that is Ed Sheeran and what makes Ed Sheeran amazing and talented. So I think as far as an Ed Sheeran album goes, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. And as far as an album goes, I'm going to dock a point for Bad Habits and give it a 9 out of 10. Shivers is a good single. I feel like I remember when he released Bad Habits, he said that he had Shivers in mind to release as the lead single. And then he said that it was not the right sound or feel for the post-quarantine world, and wanted to release a dance single, which I guess if that's the way you want to go, if that's where your head was at, I can respect your choice. I feel like Shivers would have been an excellent lead single, but my gripes with Bad Habits aside, I think it's an excellent album, and if you've never listened to an Ed Sheeran album, definitely start with Equals, because this is where it's at. And like just listen to it. If you haven't yet, go listen to it. It is so much more than Bad Habits, I promise. So I can't make myself laugh because I will cough. I really, 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 really hate to cut this off so early, because I could keep talking about this album, but my body will just not allow me to do such a thing, which sucks. But I would love to continue the conversation elsewhere. So you can tweet me at Critic Biased, or you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at the Biased Critic. Next week I will hopefully be more well. I am sorry, I just had a brain fart. I am recording this on November 3rd, so we will talk about the Queen family sing-along next week, as well as probably get I'm not going to talk about Red Taylor's version next week. I want to give myself enough time to prepare, because I mean, it comes out on a Friday. My episodes land on a Sunday, so I probably won't give myself enough listening time to talk about it on the 14th, so that'll be the week following. But we will talk about, like, she's going to do Jimmy Fallon, and she's got SNL, and so does Ed. Ed has SNL this week, so we'll talk about that, and maybe I don't know when but we probably will talk about Taylor's SNL, or at least Ed's SNL, and then, of course, Queen family sing-along, and Taylor's Jimmy Fallon performance, or whatever she's going to do on there, I don't know. And yeah, so, also there will be, by the time you're watching it or listening to this, it'll already be out, but I've got another, Fangirl Friday up on my socials, and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's just The Bias Critic. Anyways, I'm literally running out of breath as we speak. I'm so sorry that I have to cut this short, guys, but I did want to be able to do this episode to talk about this album, because like I said, I could go on and on and on about it because it is so incredible. Anyways, Thank you so much for listening. Feel free to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast to show your support. And I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.